Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about Section 21. Even like old friends are messaging me, how's this going to affect your business, Section 21, with the Labour government. And there's been people commenting on my posts on Instagram saying now that Labour is in, you renters are doomed. So I just want to put it to bed right now, shut you guys up, the haters, the people that want to see rent fail. I just want to get this off my chest because it makes me laugh, really. So many people are so against rent. And being a landlord, being a business owner, and just people that are just hating on the rent strategy. And people that are genuinely interested, you guys want to know the changes that are coming and how does it affect you. If you're looking at starting rent, are you thinking, is this too late? Is it too late to be getting into it? So yeah, let's just get straight into it. I'm going to tell you my thoughts, show you guys what's going on in the legal world, the legislation changes that are potentially coming in, how that is going to affect everyone. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so last year they were talking about the rent reform bill and, everyone was in panic mode. Landlords were in panic mode that Section 21 was going to be abolished. So one of the main pledges of the Labour government is to immediately ban the use of Section 21. So let me explain Section 21. This means you can evict a tenant on 2 months' notice without them committing any fault. No breach of contract, nothing. No, just I want my property back, or I want you out of this room in 2 months.
So if you're not buying, you might as well shoot off.
I beg your pardon?
You heard me. Get him up, pup.
And then that's it. So the Labour government want to do away with that. So obviously renters are panicking, landlords are panicking, and it's like nothing's really solid in place yet. But that's Section 21, is you can evict someone with 2 months notice without them committing any offence or breach of contract. So anyway, Labour want to abolish the use of Section 21. So many agents and landlords have seen in the discussions of the rent reform bill, this is not going to be an easy and quick task to just Labour to come in and just immediately ban the use of Section 21. It's not as easy as that. There was a post interview of Labour winning, and they asked this question. I can't remember where I seen it. I tried to find it as like chuck in here as proof, but the Labour's response was, the court process is a mess. We need to rectify that first. And it's like, okay, how long is that going to take? So there is no clear time frame as of right now of when the Labour government is going to abolish the use of Section 21. So as of right now, landlords and agents, in accordance with the Housing Act 1988, they can still serve as Section 21. This means that due to the Renters Reform Bill not being passed before the dissolution of Parliament, landlords and agents can still use Section 21. So we are back to square one. They can still provide a 2-month notice to evict a tenant once the fixed contract date has come to an end. So you also have Section 8. Now, you can issue this to tenants that have broken some terms in the agreement. If they've not paid rent, if they've been violent to other tenants, you can issue 2 weeks notice, 2 months notice. Again, it depends on which terms they've broken, that they've breached the agreement. So you've got Section 21, no fault eviction notice, Section 21, no fault eviction, but you've also got Section 8, which is they are at fault. They breached the agreement, the tenancy agreement. All right, so that's Section 8, Section 21. So we are talking about the Section 21 abolishment. So where does that leave us right now? Well, we're on the 15th of July. Probably by the time this has been edited and uploaded to YouTube, it would have gone past the date. On the 17th of July, the government's key focuses will be outlined in the King's speech. This will be in the House of Lords, and this speech marks the start of the parliamentary year. But the interesting thing is this speech is written by the newly appointed government, Labour government, and obviously their main focus was to immediately ban the use of Section 21. So hopefully after the King's speech we will have a more of an understanding on Labour and their standing of the Section 21, or if it's even going to be spoken about. So it's all a bit up in the air. They're saying, it's not going to be an easy process because the courts is a bit of a mess and they have to address that situation, and that's a very vague statement. But they also want to immediately ban the use of Section 21. So we'll see. 17th of July, the King's speech might be a very important day, and do not miss it. If you are a landlord, property owner, you're managing tenants, estate agents is going to severely impact them. So staying up to date with legislation changes, if you're in rent to rent, is crucial. It's something you really need to be up to speed with. Obviously, you can stay up to speed by following and subscribing to this channel. So even though the Renters Reform Bill hasn't been passed yet, it's essential to stay up to date because the impacts of that could really affect our business. So it's just be best prepared for any outcome. On the positive side of things, right, one landlord I work with, this is exactly the situation that he was scared of. you know, the abolishment of section 21 and even more rights to the tenants, right? So that is the bulk and the main reason why he gave me multiple properties. He accepted my offers and was very attracted to the rent-to-rent model because we don't qualify for tenant right. Okay, I'm going to take that property. My business has to pay rent, otherwise he can take the property back within 14 to 28 days without a court process. As soon as I breach that tenancy agreement, boom, he can take it back. But obviously, we take on the responsibility of the potential of section 21 being abolished. So if I was to run his properties as a HMO, for instance, and I rent the rooms out to individual tenants, then I've got the risk of section 21. But you can mitigate that risk. Okay, it's still a risk, but mitigate it. Every single risk has different levels, but you just mitigate it. You're not just going to go, oh, you're a tenant. Right, let's move you in here. You're going to put them through references. Lettingref.co.uk is brilliant. That's what I use. That's what my students use. You follow their process to a T. You don't even have to do much work. You just put them through the process and you read it at the end. So don't take on someone who's got a low credit score. If they do and they are willing to pay the rent up front, perfect. Okay, so it's all about the heavy referencing, previous landlord references, employer references, bank statements. Make sure that there's nothing suspicious on their bank statement. It's your duty as a landlord to onboard a tenant, and that is your mitigation of risk. Okay, simple as that. So yes, all right, you are still going to own the responsibility of potentially section 21 being thrown out the window, but look on the bright side. This is a very good selling point of your business. Landlords do not want a tenant that, okay, they pay rent every time, but landlords might be business owners. They might want to just rent it out for 6 months and then flip it. Who knows? You know, we're not in the mindset of landlords. They just want a service. So that's it, really. Real short one from me. Just going to wrap up there. Landlords are going to look at your rent-to-rent business model if section 21 is being abolished. But even as of right now, even though it's being talked about, landlords are going to look at the business model if they're multiple property owners and be like, you don't qualify for tenant right, and you're going to give me this much money for my property. Done. They'll throw it at you. Not all landlords. There's only 3 types of landlords that will accept a rent-to-rent. I say this every time. Business owner, bad experience, wants a more hands-off approach. That's it. If they don't accept your offer, they just fall outside of those 3 categories. That's it. So yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. If section 21 is abolished, in a nutshell, you need to mitigate that risk by referencing tenants heavily. Again, if it's abolished, it's a selling point to talk to landlords. Like, look, we don't qualify for tenant rights. So if you move the tenant in here and they paid rent on time every time, they never breached the agreement, you can't evict them even if you wanted to. So we don't qualify for that. It's a selling point. So there's always look for the silver lining. Doesn't matter how doom and gloom. Like the media are terrible. Bad news sells. So all you see in the news is downside of rent to rent, boom, the doom and gloom of tenants. Like, just ignore it all and look for the silver lining. It's a benefit for us to sell to the landlords, and it's a benefit for the landlord because we don't qualify for tenant rights. And you just mitigate that risk by heavy referencing on tenants. Okay, hopefully you found value in this. See you guys on the next one.